Hey, everybody, thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. Oh, I got music here too. There we go. Let's put some music on it. There we go. Now it's a professional broadcast. Oh, man. I don't know about you. And we'll talk to our guest here, Aaron Starkman, in a second. It's a little blurg. So, yes, was at Cannes. And just want to remind all of you that all the indie winners, and you know what? I kind of screwed up a little bit. There are a couple that I thought were indies. And then someone said, oh, no. A holding company invests in them. I was like, oh, shit. So I gotta make some tweaks. We're still learning who are indie and who aren't, which especially overseas is, it's a little more challenging, but we're learning and we're excited about bringing in more indies from across the globe. As a reminder, Indie Agency News. Our brief is build the global home for independent agencies. Our mission, our mission, yeah. This is to serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. And our goal is greater visibility for independent agencies, more choice for marketers. And we're thrilled. I mean, I can just say this personally. I'm incredibly thrilled that one of my favorite agencies in the world, Brandenburg out of Reykjavik. Yes, Reykjavik, Iceland. They do amazing work. They joined yesterday. I was in Iceland on the way back from Cannes, and they're joining this mission. So we're happy to have them. And then as a reminder, you can go to indieagency.news, click on Indies at Cannes, and off you go. I mean, here we go. You can see all the winners there. And one of the big winners was our good friends at Rethink, Aaron Starkman, joining us today, Chief Creative Officer. Oh, man, you got the Molson shirt going.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I got this from the lead cast member on a shoot.
I love it.
And I like, you know what are you gonna do with that? I want that, so I got that.
Well,
it's been washed a few times. That was a real sweaty day.
Well, I'm glad you did. Right. And we are going to look at some of the Molson work. We're going to look at the case study from See My Name here in a second. But first off, Aaron, congratulations. Independent Agency of the Year, Independent Network of the Year, Independent Agency Hockey Team of the Year, Independent Agency Best Dressed of the Year. You had a hell of a week. And this isn't the first time that if memory serves, this isn't the first time that you've been agency or agency network of the year. So walk me through, refresh my memory on.
It is. It's the first time in Cannes.
It is.
It is. Cannes, yes, we've been in the top 3.
Okay, got it.
We've been in the top 3 for the last 4 years.
Got it.
And this is first time number 1.
Yeah, and what's interesting is as you go through Cannes during the week, Click, the health agency out of Toronto, had a hell of a week. Yeah. Then Indie Agency News Members Service Plan got off out of the gate, and it's really interesting to watch because you'll see certain categories. Then you steam up, and then you start. And then you start going in, and then Widen starts going in, and then Mother starts going in, and then it turns into this very fabulous horse race. So as we were going through some of the wins, and we'll go through some of the case studies here in a second. What were you observing? Were you like, I think it's going to be a good year? Now you're Canadian, so you don't want to go too far over your skis. You'd be super polite. But what were you thinking? You're like, this might be the year.
All right, so we actually had this written down that we wanted to somehow get this title of Indie Network of the Year, and we talked about it with our people in September. Now, did we think we were going to get it? No, not really. It was a BHAG, and we didn't actually think we'd get it because, like, Service Plan has been killing it.
Always
like Widen with the DoorDash stuff, and it's Widen,
Right.
It's Widen and Kennedy. So, I mean, the day one, we got a gold. Service Plan got a gold. service plan just before Cannes was the indie network at DNAD. We were not.
Right.
So, and they had this cool opioid thing. So, I mean,
That's
throughout the week, like, yeah, Doug, like we were looking at it. We weren't nerds about it like the David people. Like David has like algorithm spreadsheets, so, and like we're just like looking at we just go to the show and look at the work.
right.
But we found out, that the morning of that we won 3 golds for Heinz, and it's like, oh, this is looking good. And then we found out we won the Grand Prix
Right.
for effectiveness, and it's like,
Yep.
Wah. That's our first Grand Prix in Cannes ever as an agency, and for effectiveness. So we were like starting to think maybe, and then normally what happens, sorry to the organizers at Cannes, what happens is they call you
Right.
to make sure you go to the right door and all that stuff the day before. And it was Thursday and we got no call. And it was Friday morning, the day they announced this stuff, and we got no call. So I actually thought we didn't win.
No.
I thought there's rumblings that Wyden got the. By the way, love Wyden, and I wanted that to be the Titanium Grand Prix, and it was. But we got rumblings that Wyden won the Titanium Grand Prix, and it's like, okay, it's Wyden, good for them. We'll finish in the top 3 again.
Right.
And then around 1:30 in the afternoon on Friday, I got a WhatsApp. I never get WhatsApps, and but I got it, and it's I just heard on the other line, hello, is this Aaron? Yeah, who's this? And
what car insurance are you trying to sell me for a car I don't own anymore?
And then you saw him all week, Simon Cook, right? It's Simon Cook from Cannes Lions. You and Rethink are having quite a week, aren't you? I'm like, yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's been really good. And he said, Aaron, I have some news. Congratulations, Rethink Rethink Toronto is the independent agency of the year. And I'm like, oh, we did it. And it's like, and I have some more news. Rethink is also the independent network of Cannes Lions 2024. I'm like, I in that moment, I don't know what it was. I was staying in a real little place. No, I was not at the Carlton in a big suite. Like a real.
That's not how we roll.
I was in a real shithole with no air conditioning.
Yeah, we don't roll Carlton.
Yeah, we're independent. We don't roll like that. So like so I'm in a little place, no air conditioning. My shirt was off when I had that call. It just hit me. It just hit me. And I started crying like a little baby.
Attaboy.
I started crying like a little baby.
You should.
And those tears they were pride. That was pride. It was just 100%. Pride in all our people in every office. It was like just genuine. Like accounting wanted us to get this. Like all of our account people, like everyone was into it. It wasn't just like some bullshit thing where like, okay, the creative department wants to go win at Cannes. Like we were all into it, and that's how it happened. So I started crying, and then I got a phone call from Mike, my partner, Mike Dubrick, and he was downstairs. And he says, "Come down," and then we hugged, and we both cried like little babies.
That's so good,
and it was great. It was great.
Yeah, and part of that, I have to imagine, is that emotion is coming from a place of, and listen, from my drum days, from my ad week days, you've always had a fan in Portland, and you have a lot of fans all over the world. Rethink is an agency, and you in particular, we root for you. we root for you. We root for the agency. We root for everything that you stand for. And so I have to imagine that, I think back to that, that wonderful IKEA lamp ad you did several years ago. And I think about just over time.
Well, we did the sequel.
You did the sequel, right?
I was at
So sorry, yeah, no, it was the
TV
sequel
when
one.
Ari
Yeah,
did the OG.
yep.
But
Yeah, it wasn't the OG, it was the sequel, which we looked at it and we're like, what? Like, we got to know more about this agency. And so, I have to say that watching this, I have to imagine that you think back to those days and you get to a point where, yeah, you know what, it's all been building, and of course we're gonna shed tears of joy for sure.
I remember it was just, listen, we've been a really good agency for a long time,
right?
But Can was never the thing. I remember, it was honestly 6 years ago, so before COVID, but 6 years ago, I remember we won a bronze lion for WestJet, and that was our only lion.
Oh,
that was
right.
our only lion, and we lit Can on fire that night. We got champagne, and it was the greatest night ever because it's fucking hard to win at Can. It's hard, and we won a bronze, and we jumped for joy, and we partied all night because it's a big deal. 6 years later, we have 26 lions.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe the tears were born out of that. We've worked really hard as an agency, and it just started clicking right before COVID. And I don't know. It's just great. I'm so proud of everyone. And yeah, it's such a good vibe in the agency today, honestly.
Oh, I can imagine. So
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So I have to think too. Let's talk about what it means. Obviously, for the talent, it's number one. If talent's looking for a place to land, they're going, oh yeah, I gotta take a real close look at Rethink. But I also have to think internally, what a great tailwind to have. What a great tailwind to have. And I know that you have some very long tenured people at the agency. What is it meaning for them right now?
Well, I remember many years ago, I've been here for what, 12 years, but we didn't even want to enter Can 12 years ago. We thought it's kind of rigged, kind of rigged. There's no point, it's a lot of money to enter. Fuck it, let's not do it. But slowly we've chipped away at it. We've started to do work that it could start in Canada, but it definitely becomes global, and it gets the world's attention. It gets the world's attention before it gets to Can, and that's kind of how you win at Can. Sure. And to answer your question, for the people that have been here for a long time, and we've had people here for 20 years, it's emotional. People, we sent out an email on Sunday, and I got a lot of responses back, and you could you could see the tears in the responses from people that have been here, for 20 years and 15 years. We've come a long way. Started off in Vancouver, with 3 people, and have grown and grown and grown, and we've grown to this. So it's great. It's great on every level.
100%. As a Portlander, of course, I'm a little more partial to Vancouver, but I'm just saying.
Vancouver's the best.
It is. All right, let's take a look at the Grand Prix for creative effectiveness. It has to be Heinz. We'll take a look at this case study, and I want to talk a little bit more about the work.
Ketchup? I'm in way over my head.
You want me to draw ketchup?
Okay.
Ketchup.
Food, ketchup bottle or something.
That's not a ketchup bottle. That's a shampoo.
Heinz.
Heinz bottle.
Heinz ketchup bottle.
Old school.
If you were asked to draw ketchup, what would you draw?
And are there other brands besides Heinz?
Heinz ketchup.
Heinz ketchup. They're one and the same.
So good.
Mustard.
That's mustard.
Yeah.
It's like the only ketchup that I know of.
There's always one mustard guy.
I thought it was mustard. It's not mustard. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so here's what I want to pick apart on this. Back some years ago, when you and I have been around for a while, if we had gone to a client or a brand and said, we want to be able to do this, and by the way, operationally, we're going to need your help because we're going to do X, Y, and Z, Canadian version.
Yeah.
And think about it, because they might have looked at you and said, oh no, our label doesn't change, or oh no, there's no way operationally we can do this. You know, we take a look at the work that comes from agencies, in particular this particular campaign. And I have to imagine that 5 years ago, it would have been probably a hard no, but also you have a very willing client and a very willing client partner that understands the true value of creativity and will sort out how to make it all happen. So I want to start with number one, where the insight came from, where the strategic insight came from, and then how you went to the client to sell this through.
You talk about all the Heinz work for the last, it was like all the Heinz work for the last 5 years. That was the effectiveness Grand Prix. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we've been doing on Heinz, we've kind of labeled it because it's what it sounds like. It's go then grow. So that's and in Canada, you know, you generally have to be scrappy,
right?
You know, you have to kind of hack the system a bit, and this is a way to do it, to get international attention on things. So we generally start out with a social post, and this is and we do this with all our clients, and it started on Heinz. We did a thing 5-6 years ago as a social post. It kind of started to take off, and then we asked the client, this is taking off. Can we have some money to do this other thing? Right? Like, can we pour gasoline on the fire?
Yep.
From the thing that happened on the social post. And that happened almost on every one of those that you saw on Tilt, on Draw Ketchup, on the Heinz puzzle we did, on fraud, ketchup fraud. It was always like, it starts out with something small, and then surprise, surprise, it gets a lot of attention. Client invests, and we grow it. That comes from trust.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just trust. You know, someone asked me A drunken person from the Netherlands said, "How does Heinz do? Why do they do so much work so often? Why do they do? It just looks like they just listen to you. Why does that happen?"
Yeah.
And my response is similar to what I'm telling you. We started off. We did a thing. It did not fuck them over. Then we did one more thing. It did not fuck them over. And then they started just like, okay, when Rethink says we should jump on this moment in culture, get something out, pounce on this thing, they've been right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We're not always right. However, if something doesn't take off, that's the downside. It didn't take off. Let's move on. We're not going to invest. So they've never had like egg on their face or lost a lot of money. So they haven't been like screwed over from us, jumping on cultural moments or doing the go then grow thing. So that was my answer. And
it's a simple, what a simple construct around that, because you're right. The stakes, the stakes, especially in social, can be range from benign to what you've been doing. And I think that's such a great place to experiment. In some ways, when you and I started back in the day, those were called focus groups.
Yeah. So this is I think this is the new focus group. Get something out, see if people react positively, and see if they're interested. And all right, that is a home run focus group if they do.
Yeah.
That tells you it's time to press go.
Yep. I'm not going to play all the Heinz stuff. I just wanted to touch on that. We're going to have we'll have all of those case studies in the recap of this, but I want to move on to this. Let's watch this.
There's one driven to right down the line toward the corner. That is foul.
Put a little indentation into the can of Coors Light.
Shohei Ohtani. He's the greatest baseball talent in the history of the sport of baseball.
He is to Japan what Messi is to Argentina.
They make up a commemorative series of cans. It has a locked out area, like when Shohei broke their neon sign.
Coors Light has done some of the best reactive marketing that I've seen in a while.
The top 5 best marketing campaigns in sports history.
It's especially impressive because Coors Light is not even the official beer of MLB, nor is Shohei Ohtani a Coors Light sponsored athlete.
やること早いですよね。8月26日のこのハプニングを逆手にとって。
No offense, but all of the everything fell together. It's not like, and no disrespect to Kevin Kiermaier of the Toronto Blue Jays, but if that had happened to him, probably wouldn't have gone quite as big. Obviously a lot's been written about it. It's been covered a ton, but in a lot of ways. And I call this serendipity marketing, and it goes back to Oh God, the thing of a billion case studies, dunk in the dark. Jesus Christ. Remember that? Every think piece, every third think piece. Yeah, dunk. What you can learn about home improvement through Dunk in the Dark. But serendipity marketing can be a very tenuous thing. So it all stacked up again. It all stacked up in a way where it's Ohtani, it's this, it's that, it's that. What were some of the discussions with the team, and then specifically with your client partner on that?
So Nick and Jordan, shout out to Nick and Jordan for the idea. They had an idea to this happen, and right off the bat, they got it. They got it with the right line. Now, you can't just do stuff that gets pointless noise. It has to relate to the brand, the strategy, functional benefit, and Coors Light. We actually have a long-standing brief with them that's like refreshing as fuck, right? So
see,
yeah, so but you can see in the social posts, North America, a way to say refreshing as fuck is hits the spot. Hits the spot means refreshing. So I think first of all, a killer line from Nick and Jordan that really nails the brief and the ownability for Coors Light. So that was number one, and I texted Sophia, the client, and like, hey, Sophia, look what we got. Like no big meetings. It was just like we gotta pounce on this. I think we do a social post to start, and as a parallel path, can you start looking, or have your team start looking into like getting over some logistical hurdles to actually make cans, to actually go and put this black pixel on cans. And that was what we did. We started with the social post, and Sophia and I were texting, and she's like, yep, I think we can do it. Talk to Eric. And then we're texting with Eric about making cans. And then we said, oh, you know what? We got lucky. They're on a 6-day road trip. So we have some time to actually get some media bought in Angel Stadium when he comes back and when the team comes back. So then it's like, Sophia gets on the media, and Eric is like trying to like take over the stadium. And then we said, well, what about outside the stadium? Everything in a 2-mile square radius. Can we get it all done? Anytime you have a Coors Light ad, and it's like, yep, get up there, put on the pixel. And we did that. And then it took off in Japan. Again, it's just text. Can we go to Japan? Can we give these away in Japan? Again, logistical challenges. Us and Sophia and Eric and team figured it all out and just worked as one team and made it all happen. And that's the golden grow. That's the golden grow.
I love that. And one other part of these teams that I think always deserves a shout out: producers are the heroes.
Yes,
producers are amazing. PMs, project managers.
Yes,
project managers and producers. You'd say this is the situation, and then they go, and you're in great hands. So huge shout out to the producers and PMs on this.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to spend too much. I can talk to you all day, which is here. Okay. So Molson,
I can talk to you all day.
Well,
every time we talk, we just go on and on, right?
We just go on and on. Just blathering.
Yeah.
So I've got Uber Eats horror codes. I'll put that on. I've got Molson See My Name, which is much more purpose led, which I think maybe we dive into a little bit more specifically and spend time with that.
Yes.
Now here's this last one I want to play. This was in the B2B space. Now, I have to say that I am a customer of Epidemic Sound. So this music that you hear, that's Epidemic Sound. So as an audio guy, I used to go through all these libraries. I'm going to just stop. But I've used Epidemic Sound for a very, very long time. So when I saw this pop up, I said, oh, what? What is this? So let me play this and I want to talk about it.
Epidemic Sound is a sound and music catalog with 40,000 unique tracks that can make your audience feel whatever you want them to. So we paired our music catalog with all the feelings out there. Introducing a sound for every feeling. To prove we had a sound for every feeling, we made an ad for every feeling, using a track like this one. To score, the shock of peering into a stroller and coming face to face with a chihuahua instead of a human baby. Or this track, to bring to life the frustration of autocorrect misunderstanding you for the third ducking time. 502 specific ads, scoring 502 specific feelings, with 502 specific tracks, each with a QR code so anyone could listen. Starting in New York, where this track brought to life feeling divinely chosen when the train doors open at the good exit. On an industrial Brooklyn street, this track scored wondering if a warehouse is one of the cool ones with a club inside or a regular one filled with auto parts. In Los Angeles, this track helped you feel the dream-crushing realization that parking lot owner might be the best-paying job in Hollywood. And outside an LA talent agency, this one scored questioning your identity and the very notion of selfhood as you walk into a casting call with 100 other yous. Across the pond in London, this track perfectly summed up the confidence of a man in shorty short shorts doing stretches against a bench. And this one helped Londoners of all ages feel the teenage urge to smirk when someone tells you they're from Cockfosters. And on the internet, tracks like this one scored feelings like the ironic paranoia of covering your laptop camera but taking your phone with you to the bathroom. In total, you scanned, clicked, and listened over 1 million times, proving in 1 million ways that Epidemic has a sound for every feeling.
All right, I started as a copywriter in specifically radio, specifically in audio. Your results may vary. I have to imagine the copywriters had a blast with this one.
They did.
502?
Yeah, it was. I want to back up 1 second on this. So yes, so the team in New York totally ran with this. Daniel, Tara, Gabriel, and they had so much fun. There were 1 million more ads that didn't make it to a billboard or something.
Right.
But they had so much fun on this. But I got to tell you, a funny thing about awards, and we started this conversation with Can and me crying. But you know what? I'm not the best new business person. I'm not. It's not my thing. My fastball, and I think the agency's fastball, is trying to do good work.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Good work that gets press and can maybe win some awards. And we didn't pitch this business. We never pitched this business. This client reached out to me on LinkedIn after Cannes last year, and said, "Hey, you're doing really cool work," and I'm like, "All right, yeah," and also fell in love what they're all about, and they're massive, Epidemic. And also the relationship has been unreal. But over to New York, do your thing. And that kept me out of the pitch room. It kept us out of the pitch room. So it's just something for all the indies out there, just because we're all in this together. Don't spend your weekends pitching. Don't don't spend your money on the pitching thing. Try to spend your money and your time and your effort on doing the good work. Honestly, because it's like pitching sucks.
Yes,
pitching
it does.
sucks. It's like let's leave the pitching for the holdcos. That's my pep talk for all the indies, and a lot of us are into that. I wanted to mention it. Go indies, and go no pitching.
Go no pitching. Yeah, I like that. No, I really, really like that. Well, Aaron, as always, a pleasure. We do have a finite amount of time, so no one needs the Meet Joe Black version of us talking for 3 hours. Nobody needs it.
Wasn't that bad.
No, it really wasn't. No, I try to keep it around 30-ish. So there you go. Well, first of all, Aaron, and I want to bring up a finer point too, because you said, do good work and get recognized for it. But the biggest recognition that any agency, and in particular Rethink, really accomplishes very well is success for clients and success for brands. So not only congratulations on that, but congratulations on growing so many businesses around the world. So congratulations on that. I'm going to have you hang out for a second, but thanks so much for joining us today.
A pleasure.
All right.
Go Indies.
Go Indies. Don't hang up. I'm going to do my fancy close here. Don't go away.
Okay.
Put you backstage. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. So great. I mean, I'm thrilled that Aaron joined us, especially so closely after Cannes was over. But to all of you who are Indie Agency News members, thank you so much for supporting this mission. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So going to Cannes was a nice thing for me and for us to take a look at, and how we can continue to positively impact the indie community. But most importantly, impact brands and growing their businesses around the world. Lots more stuff to come. And thank you so much for all of our members. We number over 100 and can't thank you enough for the support and joining this mission. Let's see, what else do we have going up? Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. We are taking the week of 4th of July off. We are taking a little bit of a break. So that will be the week of July 1st. Next week, we will not have any programming, but we are back in force on July 8th. One thing we do have tomorrow, though, we do have fun and games. It is Random Q tomorrow. So we have one last game show before we go on a break. And I hope that all of you take a break as well. It's very important to make sure that we're all pacing ourselves a little bit. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, I'm Doug Zanger. Thanks so much for joining us. Long live Indies, baby.